process plus other valuable information about property and real estate. And do note that while we are giving information and advice that we believe to be accurate, we recommend that you also make thorough checks before entering into any deals. We have Val the Builder. Val Musoni runs a property company for renovations and home improvement. She does interior design, project management, and property development. She studied real estate at the University of Cape Town and project planning and management at the University of Zimbabwe. Val, good morning. Hope you had a wonderful weekend.
Good morning, V Candy. Yes, I did. And good morning to our listeners and viewers.
Wonderful. We're also live on Facebook. Yeah. Maybe to kickstart the conversation, if we can have a quick recap of last week's discussion. After buying land to build, what's next?
All right. Remember last week I just took you through the processes that before you start thinking, or when you start to think about building, you need to plan the house that you want to build, the size of land, the square meters. You need to think about all those things and the aesthetics. Then you engage an architect, and the architect has different processes as well, stages. The first one, the fact finding, where you sit down, you discuss the design, and then you have the schematic where they actually do the drawing for you to look at and confirm that what you are discussing with the client is that what you had in mind. Me being the end user, is this what I had in mind? And then we tweak it where we need to, and also engage an engineer, because you would also need the engineer to do engineering drawings that will be approved by council. And the contractor, the building contractor, most important, the quantity surveyor as well, for the bill of quantities, for the estimate, so that you know what you're getting into. And also gauge with your budget. You must be realistic about the money that you have, so that when you start and you finish. It's a project. A project has a beginning and an end, but for most people, they start, they get stuck, and it's all about preparation. So you really need to plan and to prepare before you start.
I've seen houses where you then just see the potential. This person really had a huge vision in terms of what they wanted. I guess maybe somewhere along the way, Maria Kazopera, or just something.
Yes.
The business then, tumbled, or something just did not work. And it's not on the now, today we're looking at the council submission process. If you're also listening, any questions, it is a Galaxy Property. You can also hit us up on our WhatsApp platform. That's 0772162651. Looking at council submissions, the process itself, what are the requirements?
All right. When you've done all your processes with the architect, your drawings are ready, you actually submit the engineer's drawings for them to be approved. There's a blue form that they have to complete, submit to council, and once they're approved, you then attach your builder's drawing, the working drawings, commonly known as plans. Then you attach that, and also the architect has to complete their own form that you attach, and then you submit to council. But what they require is for you to have a rates account first. So you need to go to the local authority and open a rates account in your name if you have title deed. But if you're still processing, or it's a developer's session, they'll give you like the agreement of sale. You need to take that on. And then they also need the dispensation certificate, compliance certificate, and endowment as well. And then you go and submit. You get those copies, you attach them, and then you submit to council. And when you submit them, they will then, you actually go first to your local district council. That's where you submit for example, if it's Mount Pleasant in Harare, you go to Mount Pleasant council offices. That's where you submit. You don't just submit anywhere, and they will take it from there and take it to where they go and get approved. And if there are any issues with the drawings, there are things that, according to regulations, is not, proper, they will ask the architect to come back and do what they call snagging. And that can be a process on its own, once or twice, depending on the issues that they've come across. It could be the plumbing, they're not too happy with that. It could be the rooms, different things. They will actually tell you what the problem is. So if it goes in and it doesn't get approved, it fails that day, then they'll obviously require the architect to come and do the snagging.
Mm-hmm. So is this for all the houses, when you're planning to build? Because like we have seen over time, just the demolitions, council involved in those cases, or
Yeah, from the last or when we started the show, we were talking about the due diligence. So you find with demolitions, most of the time, it's because people have not adhered to the regulations, and maybe they haven't even gone to council. Council at times is not even involved at all. And then when they come, like the land barons, most of the time this is what is happening, and they will tell you everything is sorted out, everything is okay, and then you carry on with the build works, and then when you see council coming, you're now like surprised, because they would have given you something or assured you that everything is in order. So if you don't do your due diligence and make sure that what the development you're buying into is authentic, then you can get into trouble, and those complications arise. Council actually warn people, they actually do communicate, but most of the times people rather trust the people or the company that would have sold them the land.
Because maybe you also don't want to lengthen the process, and you're excited, that it may be something that you can afford, and I was good as could delay, to delay the whole process.
Yes.
And you just want to go for it, but then I guess cheap is expensive, because it would then cost you.
Yeah, and also at times people, you can submit your papers to council and they're approved, and then you go ahead with the build. Then maybe your contractor tells you, you really don't need for council inspectors to come, or okay, I'm approved, I can build the house, and they can come and sign at the very end. Don't please be careful. Don't listen to such talk, because you get into trouble. When you submit your papers to council, you also need to pay for the stages once they've been approved. There are various stages that you need to have an inspector come, inspect that what they're doing is correct, right from the setting out. They have to come and see that you have done the pegging correctly, the boundaries are correct, and they also just, be communicating, looking back at the drawing, verifying that everything that's on there is what is being done. And the architect as well, is also there to make sure that the builders are doing the correct thing. So they must come at every stage that is required by law, by them, to come and inspect, and they sign off. They need to sign off on the plan that they came on such and such a date, the setting out is correct, and they sign, and then they come for stage 2, when stage 2 is digging, when they dig the trenches for the footing, in preparation of the footing, the excavation. So they come again, and then they check, is this done properly? Have you gotten to the level that is required on the drawings? Or if the ground is not, what can I say? If the ground needs you to go further down so that you get to a point where you reach firm ground, then they will tell you to deepen the depth. so that you make sure that the foundation is strong. Because at times, that's when they talk about special foundation as well. And before then, actually, a good idea is to have your soil tested. So when the soil is tested, it actually helps you to know what sort of soil, what sort of things that you can encounter when they start digging process.
Okay, or the soil itself.
The soil itself, yeah, the soil
How
testing.
important is that?
It's very important.
Oh.
It's very important, yeah, before you build. So that can also tell you what kind of soil it is, so that you prepare yourself. Because foundations can be very expensive. Yeah.
Or maybe, like you're saying, in some cases, you may actually then need the special foundation.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, where you have to reinforce with steel. Yes, and the engineer is there to tell you how it is done. Yeah. So
Okay.
they can actually get it from the engineer's drawings as well. But if they come across any other complications, like you can find, these big boulders underneath, they'll need to reinforce. So you need the steel works, yes, to be done.
If you're just tuning in, it is a Galaxy Property with Val the Builder. Today we are looking at the council submission process itself, the requirements thereof. If you have any questions, you can also hit us up on 0772162651. So what are the other requirements that we're looking at?
So basically, those are the requirements to submit your papers to council, right? With the architect's name, the license, the permit, and also the contractor. Remember I mentioned the stages. The contractor also has to be one who is registered with council. They pay fees to be registered. So make sure that your contractor is registered. Don't just take anyone. And after that, the inspector will
So
come.
all contractors are registered with the council?
They should be. They should be. Some don't register. So don't engage those who are not registered. Be careful. Make sure that they're registered, because then they know, you also get that peace of mind that this person is authentic and they know what they're doing.
Alrighty.
Yes.
Val, I'm taking a look at our time. Maybe just your parting short and your contact details for those who would want to get more information and also engage you. Just a quick question here saying, how much does one pay for a council inspector? Is there money involved?
Oh, yes, there is money involved for every stage. If you go there, they'll be able to tell you. I wouldn't want to give a figure now, because in case they have changed the rates, you need to go to the council offices. They will tell you how much it is.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And for those who want to get in touch with you?
All right. They can get in touch with me on my WhatsApp number, which is 0772 273 888. That's 888. Or my email, valmusoni@gmail.com. And yes, this is Val the Builder.
Val the Builder. Val the Builder.
Yes. And we do project management for those who we can just do project management. We don't have to be building, but to make sure that these stages we're talking about are being done properly, they're being adhered to. Because if you don't do the stages, do you know what can happen? Your house can go south instead of going north,
Yes.
So you have crooked
engage-
walls. Yes, so engage a project manager. Very important.
Val.
Engage Val the Builder.
Thank you so much, Val. We'll do this again
Yes.
next week, same time. Check your
All
time
right.
with mine, Star FM, 10
Yeah.
o'clock. Time for the news.
This is Zim Papers Radio.